We've just discovered a major bug, which you will want to know about before you build a Tier 3 space station, and probably a Tier 2 space station as well, as I believe those are affected as well. Or, in fact, you may not want to build a space station of Tier 3 and Tier 2 at all until this is resolved, because it's a pretty freaking major deal. What is the issue? The issue is that stations are being placed in the wrong slots. Specifically, yesterday we were trying to build a Tier 3 space station in the Pleiades Zoo, which you may have heard we're building up. And been very careful about trying to place it at slot 0. And after we did so, guess what? It ended up in a freaking asteroid field halfway across the system. Can orbit stations even be placed in asteroid fields? Have you ever seen an orbit station in an asteroid field? I don't think I have. But anyway, it ended up here. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Mechan, you probably misclicked. You misclick all the time. You clearly skill issue with your user interface. You weren't paying attention. You're probably too tired. Clearly, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for like your own personal skill issue and mistake. So you know what? Let me show you the actual clip from the live stream last night, and you be the judge of what actually happened. You really, really don't want to screw up. Slot 0. All right, slot 0 is good. Starport, Orbis, Artemis, begin construction. Fingers crossed we didn't mess something up. Let's see what's going on. Possibly Mirage A. I don't know, but I think the key argument is we wanted these to be free floating. Did it go through? Didn't show. I hate the system. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if it did it pop up. Where did it go? It certainly built something because it took the points. What the heck? It placed it here. You guys saw what happened, right? I did everything perfectly right. I did everything perfectly right. And still it placed this thing in the freaking asteroid field. What the heck? And there's no undo. What am I supposed to do with this thing now? All right, so you see my live disbelief at this happening. But this points to a more fundamental issue, which is Frontier calls this feature complete. But this is not feature complete without an undo or cancel construction button. It just isn't. Like, we'll agree to disagree in that case. It's like saying, hey, I built a car, it's only got a gas pedal, it got no brakes, and it's feature complete because I say so. No, the car needs the brakes. Otherwise, it just doesn't work as a car. This is the same thing. You can't have colonization with plotting down a station after weeks of community efforts that ends up in the wrong spot and not have an undo button. Now I've ticketed, and hopefully support can manually move this station. I don't even know if it's even possible. Like, we'll figure it out. We'll keep you posted. But A, this shouldn't happen. Like, this should be something that should have been tested before you go to open beta. But fine, accidents, mistakes happen, bugs happen. It's too complex to test in a closed beta. I get all that. But you need an undo button for situations like this. Like, you can't just leave it and say, we just placed a week worth of effort in the wrong spot with no warning, no pop-up, no information whatsoever, and you can do nothing about it. The system is permanently altered in a way that is different than what your system architect intent was, and tough luck, this is not okay. This is just not okay. This is something that needs to be fixed as a priority, and anyone who is building tier 2 and tier 3 stations should be aware of this because your station may end up in random spots And I'm pretty sure that, like me, you don't want that. I also kind of realized that this might have been a bug that had affected me before, because I was in a similar situation where my tier 2 asteroid base that I originally built around this gas giant, I had placed in slot 0, pardon me, in slot 1, which would have been the ice ring of this station, but instead, this one ended up in slot 0, which is the rocky ring. And I've been asking around, and these problems with these stations ending up in the wrong slots definitely doesn't affect me as only. There's tickets about asteroid stations ending up in the wrong rings. Atasran mentioned that his tier 3 station was also built in the wrong slot. So this is a pretty common issue that affects a lot of people. This is not just a one-off thing, like a weird freak accident that I'm showing you here. It is a recurring common problem. So guys, until further notice, you do you. You can choose to build your tier 2, tier 3 stations, knowing they might end up randomly placed, and you may not ever be able to move them because there's no undo button, let alone cancel a construction. If you want to take the risk and do it, do it. Armed with this information, you can certainly go ahead with it, or you can hold off and see if this is an issue that is confirmed and eventually, hopefully, fixed. You'll find the issue tracker for additional confirmation in the video description below. I'd appreciate your help in getting it confirmed and getting it upvoted so we can get this fixed, because this is pretty freaking important for colonization as a whole. I think you would agree with me on this one. And as far as like the major bug is concerned, that's it. In other elite news, well, a few other things. I could go on and on about other small little bugs, but I'm going to do that in a separate video where we're going to talk about the minor bugs of colonization, those that don't actively break the game, like this one, but instead are kind of minor things that need to be fixed. We'll do a video about that with the issue trackers and see if we can get people to upload as well. But that's beyond the point of this video. In other news, there's been another interesting set of developments and events in that in the, where did it go? Tikurua system. Trying to spell it correctly and see if I can take you there in game. And I did map my galaxy map key as someone suggested on Reddit, because like you're like, Mechan doesn't have a galaxy map key. That's true, I didn't have it. Now I do. The Tikurua system had anti-Xeno combat zones spawn as of yesterday in a kind of mysterious turn of events, because there was no Fargoid invasion, there was no burning stash stations, there were no missions at ports for Fargoid combat. It just so happened that a bunch of anti-Xeno combat zones of varying intensity spawned in the system. No idea how that happened. We went to investigate, confirmed they were there, confirmed that the other characteristics were as I described. The anti-Xeno combat zones disappeared as of this UK morning. They were removed. Again, with no information, no communication. They were come and gone. Even this was like a sort of surprise incursion of the Fargoids in response to us invading the Pleiades, or it was a fat finger of someone, we don't know. But anyhow, these are gone and are no longer in the game. That's it for today. Commander Mechan, over and out, and appreciating your help in getting that issue tracker upvoted and making that a priority, because this station placement bug is a freaking big deal. Glory to mankind.